Welcome to the City Show. Pat O'Meara here on GGR Radio. And as I say each week, download the Live 365 app. If you're listening, you already did it. But if you're not, tell your friends, tell your mom's friends, tell your dad's friends, post it. Download the Live 365 app. You can enjoy all our programming as we continue to develop this radio station. And Live 365 has got a ton of other programming there, a lot of music, a lot of podcasts, that sort of thing. So download it. You can go on YouTube. You can hear our GGR radio shows there, and it's good. It's we got the JCMUA's doing their town halls. The public safety's doing town halls. We got NJCU every Wednesday at 1:00. You're getting the college experience with Andy Acebo and Dr. Cynthia there, and whatever students they drag in. Poor students are probably walking across the campus, and they grab them to come with us. We have a radio show to do. But download the Live 365 app. What are we going to talk about today? Talk about protected bike lanes. Our Mayor Phillip, a man who I don't ever see ride a bike, by the way, he keeps on installing these bike lanes. And we talked about it about a week ago, about some of the safety issues I have with these bike lanes. And it turns out in Brooklyn, they're pulling out some of these protected bike lanes over safety issues. We're going to talk about affordable housing here in Jersey City. Are we really trying to create affordable housing, or we just want to deal with the developers? A pre-K school in the Braddock Park in North Bergen. We want to talk about that. Alligator Alcatraz. I just like the name, Alligator Alcatraz. I want to talk about that a bit. We're going to talk a little Trump and Russia and the Ukraine war. We get a little global. I'll even talk about Justin Timberlake. We're going to talk about my old friend Robert Byrne. He just had a street named for him here in Jersey City. He was the former city clerk. Great guy, real Jersey City historian. We're going to talk about gig workers. The state's trying to do away with them, and school funding that I didn't get to last week. Hopefully I get to this week if I stop getting off the path while I'm doing this live. All right, we're going to break for commercial. Again, you're listening to City Show Radio here on GGR. We'll be right back.
Comprehensive healthcare is here, here, and here. RWJ Barnabas Health is healing, enhancing, and investing in Hudson County with its two newest locations, Hoboken and Exchange Place. Within walking distance or accessible by mass transit, our locations combine convenience with primary and specialty care, including cardiology, women's health, orthopedics, cancer care, and more. Let's be healthy together.
Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, Jersey City. Hudson County's only monument maker, serving all faiths and cemeteries. Design, studio, and large inventory on site. Cemetery inscriptions and custom orders welcome. Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, just south of Secaucus Road. Craftsmanship that will last for all eternity. Burns Brothers, Jersey City, Albert H. Hopper, North Arlington. Visit us on the net.
We're back. City Show Radio, Pat O'Meara here on GGR. Like I said, don't forget to download the Live 365 app. You see our Twitter. You can get the little scan code right there, the QR code. You can download it. As I was saying in the beginning, protected bike lanes. Now, Mayor Phillip is in the process of screwing up Summit Avenue, and now he's determined to destroy Palisade Avenue. Here's the whole thing. We have a hard time getting around this city as it is. I can leave the studio here in North Bergen, head to City Hall in Jersey City, and take about an hour and a half to get there. And the problem's not in North Bergen. It's when I get into Jersey City. That's where time stops. You're just struggling to get through Central Avenue. You're struggling to get through Summit. You're struggling to get down to Montgomery Street. And all the while, especially on Montgomery Street, you get the bike lanes. There's nobody on these effing bike lanes. Nobody's using them, yet we keep pushing them through. Now, they just installed new ones on Summit Avenue, and they're really tightening up Summit. It's going to be very difficult for especially emergency equipment, rigs, straight jobs, cube vans, Prime, UPS. Because what we're doing, you've seen it, you have the sidewalk, and then we put like a 4-foot green bike lane, and then we put these plastic bull rods, and then people park along the plastic bull rod. The protected bike lane is parked cars. And what's happened is in New York, and they're going to pull the protected bike lanes out of Brooklyn because of safety issues. It is very simple for a kid to get off the bus, cross the street, cut through the parked cars, and get hit by somebody on a bicycle. For that matter, I think I was just reading someone, Amy Wilson, today. It's good that Amy, she's been under the weather a little bit. She's posting again on Twitter, and she was talking about today in Jersey City where somebody was riding on the sidewalk on their bike, where right off the sidewalk is the protected bike lane. It's amazing, and if people talk about cars, car drivers are so bad. It's almost as if everybody on a bike is bad, and it's a small minority of people who actually utilize bikes. It's not a 24/7, 365 mode of transportation. It's what today, pretty friggin' hot. I didn't see anybody on a bikey today because it's pretty friggin' hot out there. And man, I was waiting to get my car fixed, which was a failed experiment. I had to change an oil sending switch, and that wasn't the problem. I'm still getting the oil light going on vaguely, but it goes off. And if I shut the car off and turn it on, the light stays off for quite a while. I'm pretty sure it's instrumentation. But now that I changed the switch and it's not the switch, we're going to have to get deeper into this problem. I don't need it to be an oil pump. But as I'm sitting there, people walk by. I've seen, hundreds of cars go by. I haven't seen anybody in bike go by. So really, it's almost like a woke thing or political correctness to have these bike lanes in here in Jersey City or in Brooklyn also. It's not utilized, they're not safe, and that's what's going on in Brooklyn and what's happening here. Somebody crossing the street, squeezing between two cars, and popping up on the bike lane are going to get hit. Everything's obscured, especially if you got vans parked there, minivans, SUVs. It is not safe, and it's not utilized 24/7, 365. It's not utilized 120, whatever math days and hours and years you want to put together. They're just not utilized. And if it's cold, you're not riding the bike. If it's snowing, you're not riding the bike. If it's ice out there, you're not riding your bike. Nobody's going to ride a bike. You're going on a date, you're not riding your bikes. You're going shopping, you're not going to ride a bike. You're going to take your car. It sounds good, and it sounds like we're being green and we're saving the environment. No, you're not. You're just screwing up the environment. You're creating traffic. And that's the whole problem here. We keep squeezing Jersey. It's the same thing in New York. And it's like some badge of woke honor or something. We have these bike lanes. They're not utilized. They're not safe, especially when your protected bike lane is parked cars. And anybody squeezing between the parked cars and popping up on the bike lane are getting hit by the bikes. And it's amazing because it's like a 1,000,000-to-1 shot because nobody effing uses the bikes. So it's hard to get hit by a bike, but it's happening. You need to be able to see these bike lanes. And I don't think we need 4-foot bike lanes. But right now, Mayor Fulop, he just announced this thing. He's going to do it on Palisade Avenue now. Palisade Avenue is tight as it is. And he's going to put the bike lanes in. And he has this caveat. We're not losing one single parking spot. But you're tightening up the friggin' road so much that the buses are going to have a hard time going up and down Palisade Avenue. I'm pretty sure there's some sort of a federal law how wide a street should be. Now, if you're looking at buses and ambulances and so forth, they're 102 inches wide, 8.5 feet. And we're tightening up these car lanes because of these friggin' bike lanes. Now, that is going to cause problems. Now, I know it's still a knee-jerk reaction. It's hard. We don't have the whole story yet in the investigation as to what happened with the young kid down on Jersey Avenue. Unfortunately, he was hit by a UPS truck. I know what I was told and what I heard. I talked to everybody in this field. When did I go talk? What am I, from Brooklyn myself now? Bronx. I talked to everybody in the city, so I've heard some things. It's a tragic what happened there. But apparently, from what I'm told, again, it was a case of somebody the child popping out between a parked car. And the UPS driver didn't have enough time. That's what I was told. I'm not sure that's official. That's what I was told. I assume we'll hear everything when the final investigation is done. To use the parked cars as bike lane protection is ridiculous because now we're actually obscuring the line of sight into that bike lane. If somebody's crossing the street, they don't see this other person on a bike. And then there's an incident, and it seems it happened. Maybe they use it more in Brooklyn than we do in Jersey City. All I know, when I'm riding around Jersey City, I see these empty bike lanes. And I get a kick when I go to City Hall. I'll take Montgomery Street. I make sure I take the bike lanes. And when I get to City Hall, I say how many bikes I've seen. I've seen 3 bikes in the whole city going down there. And then on the way back, I'll take Washington to come back up to the Heights. And they put the bike lanes down there by Newport. Ain't nobody on those bike lanes. Real waste of time money for, if chosen few who may actually ride a bike and the chosen few who may actually utilize a bike lane. Most of them are like what Amy Wilson's seen, people on the sidewalks or they're in the street, like on Central Avenue. I'm in the Heights here. It's like the Wild Kingdom there on Central, but that's more of the e-bikes. I mean, they're cutting your cars off. They're coming right alongside the car. They're going through red lights. They're going the wrong direction on one-way streets, and they're doing it with impunity because there is no enforcement. I don't need the Jersey City police chasing down some knucklehead on an e-bike, but we have to have some sort of enforcement. Maybe we bring back the motorcycle squad. Again, it's Jersey City Police, but at least they can track these cyclists, these e-bikes down far quicker than somebody on a car can. But somehow we have to have some enforcement. Somehow there has to be liability for these people on the bikes. They should have a registration of some sort. They certainly should have liability insurance. If they hit your elderly mother on a sidewalk and she now breaks a hip, who's paying for that? Guy on the bike has no insurance. Not mandated. Now, I guess if it's going to be considered a mode of transportation, we're putting in infrastructure at a price, and it's your tax dollars that are putting in this infrastructure, then we should demand that they have liability insurance. Because if they hit your elderly parent or your child and they break a hip or an arm, or they cause a car accident because they're friggin' idiots driving in the street like it is, they should have liability insurance. They should be paying $1,200, $1,400 a year. Because they may cause an accident. But getting back to the protected bike lanes, first off, I rode around Jersey City on bikes when I was a kid every day. All over Jersey City. We'd go into Kearney, we'd go to North Arlington, but mainly we went into Jersey City, rode all around. There were no protected bike lanes. I'm not even sure we had crosswalks back then. The cars didn't have disc brakes or ABS brakes, especially Pontiacs. They had terrible brakes back in those days. We all made it home every day. And we rode Kennedy Boulevard, we rode Montgomery Street, Central Avenue, Garfield Avenue, we were all over. We had no bike lanes, but we all made it. It wasn't like we were taking a life-challenging event here. We just rode around, went up to Journal Square. We got back home. It wasn't like Mom hugged you and said, it's like you're coming back from the war or something. No, we were just biking. But we knew how to ride a bike. Maybe that's what the case is. Maybe these people today can't ride a bike. That's why they need these bike lanes, because they're incapable of riding a bike. That I could do at 8, 10 years old, they can't do at 35 years old. And they're screaming, we need to protect the bike, we need to save our lives. Listen, I drove a bike until I can finally get behind the wheel of a car, which was probably around like 12 years old. I had my first car when I was like 13. But as soon as I could get into a car, I was done with bikes. Again, all my friends, we rode all over without protected bike lanes. And we managed to come home every night. Now, I know there's been incidents over the years. I don't know anybody personally. It's a shame with the 6-year-old child that had an incident on a bike. I know it happened, but it's far and in between. But one of the things I would also say, back when I was a kid, we rode in the direction of the oncoming traffic. You'd make eye contact with the driver of the other car. He's seen you, you've seen him. That's something we don't have anymore. So really, maybe what we need to do is reconfigure how we're addressing bikes on the streets. I don't believe we need lanes. You want to put a bike lane there, fine. I don't think we need protected bike lanes, especially when you're protecting them with cars. Maybe we should go back to having you drive against the traffic so you can make eye contact with the car coming your way. And somehow, some way, and again, I hate to see Jersey City Police doing this, but every time we ask for something, some more enforcement, it costs money. Maybe the parking enforcement could maybe parking enforcement. They're running around with them Cushmans. They're small enough where they can go in and out. Maybe have them enforce the laws of the street here and the roads. But what's happening now isn't working. Hopefully, when I do get a chance, I'm going to talk to Mayor Phillip. Maybe I can get him to reverse his idea there on Palisade Avenue. I'm seeing what he did to Summit. He really screwed up Summit there, my man. Good job there, Mr. Mayor. Instead of it taking me an hour and a half to get across Jersey City, now it'll take me about 2 hours because you keep tightening up. And actually, I think he actually uttered making Summit a one-way and Baldwin a one-way. I think he's already working on Baldwin a one-way because I got to get into that also. We had the train that hit the bridge like a year and a half ago, and we still don't have that portion of Baldwin fixed. So you only got traffic going north on Baldwin Avenue. It's no longer a two-way street. Phillip may be trying to force-feed us that. And then don't think I'm being anti-Fulop here, by the way. I get along with Steve. We're not always on the same side of the issue here. Steve is on the wrong side of the issue when it comes to these bike lanes. You're just creating traffic here for a very, very minute, small portion of the population here of Jersey City who ride bikes. For that matter, I said that, right? I didn't see anybody on a bike today. Think about that. A whole day, and I'm actually waiting to get my car fixed. All that time I was waiting there, not one person rode by on a bike. All right, I'm going to break for commercial. You're listening to The City Show. I'll be right back.
Newport, the luxury waterfront community on the Hudson River, offers a quality of life you deserve in one of our many high-rise towers. With amenities such as the on-site Newport Path, light rail, Newport Town Square, 3 playgrounds, dog run, upscale restaurants, retail giants like Kohl's, JCPenney, Macy's, and Target. Morton Williams and Acme Supermarket are just outside your front door. A health and fitness center, skating rink, and medical facilities are also on site. Enjoy the New York skyline from our waterfront and various parks. Manhattan is just one pass stop away, or a quick ride through the Holland Tunnel. Nursery and private elementary schools all on site. 12-screen movie theater at the Newport Center Mall. Looking to visit? Stay at the Westin or Marriott Hotel. For more information, visit us at newportnj.com. Make lasting memories to cherish forever. It's incredible. It's you, Newport. Live like you want.
We're back. City Show here. Pat O'Meara on GGR. Affordable housing. Now, Bill O'Day, candidate for mayor here in Jersey City, Hudson County Commissioner. I think Billy's been a commissioner, 20-some-odd years. I think he's in the Commissioner Hall of Fame, for that matter. Him and my other buddy, Joe Vicari. He just had a town hall. Probably should have done it on the radio here. He could reach more people instead of trying to squeeze them into an office at Jersey City Board of Education office, I think, on Kennedy Boulevard. They had it. You know, we keep crying about affordable housing, but it's hard to be affordable when the city is not affordable. And before I tried to change the whole financial situation here of Jersey City, I just look at developing affordable housing. When I was a kid, affordable housing was a partnership between the feds, the state, the county, and the municipality. And they would build what we came to call projects. Curry Woods, I lived there until my mother passed away. Duncan Projects, Marion Gardens, Holland Gardens. I know I'm forgetting some of them. Montgomery Gardens. They were all affordable housing that was done by governmental entities. We don't do that anymore. We don't build affordable housing high-rise anymore. Curry Woods, I think 1 or 3 Heckman Drive is still there, big brick building. I think they were like 14 stories high, something like maybe 12, 14, and you had a lot of apartments in there. And Curry Woods, we lived at 71 Merritt Street, 7C. I guess there was a total like 9 or 10 buildings. Now there's 1. How we managed to destroy 9 brick buildings, and they were built in the mid-'60s, I guess. It was really a beautiful complex, Curry Woods. And my mom passed away in '66, so we moved out of there. And I remember coming back in the late '70s to move my aunt out of there. And what a horrible situation it was. The buildings were in huge states of deterioration. It was unmaintained. And it brings me back to Billy Gorham. Billy Gorham, rest his soul, former councilman here in Jersey City, would say that Jersey City is a terrible landlord or property owner. And it was really a case what happened with these buildings. I'm sure Jersey City had a hand in it, but I'm not sure they ran Curry Woods completely. It's probably the housing authority was involved. I remember when I was a kid, if you sat on the fence, the maintenance guys would hit you with a stick. If you climbed on the big boulder, they had these like decorative boulders, you get yelled at. When we came back to move my aunt out of there, the fences that you would get hit with a stick for sitting on were gone. And somehow we lost the boulders. Who took the boulders? Yeah, it shows just how bad this thing deteriorated all those years. That shouldn't have happened, but the powers that be allowed that to happen. But that's the kind of development. You want to create affordable housing, making deals with the developers, give us 10% affordable housing or stay affordable for 20 years and then we'll revert back to market rate isn't the answer, because what you're doing, you're giving the developers, in exchange for the 10% affordable, you're giving them density. So for basically every affordable apartment they throw at you, they're getting 3 market rate ones. So it's a real good deal. And 2, the city's going to cut an abatement deal with them, taxes for 20, 30 years, and they're helping with the bonding. So listen, the developers aren't doing you any favors. And I work with a lot of the developers. I know these guys. They're there to make a buck. They're there to take care of their investors. Why we don't go back, even Bayfront, Mayor Phillips' big project there on the Hudson, on the Hackensack River. Why can't we just develop this ourselves? Again, ourselves being the government, feds, county, state, municipality, instead of bringing in developers again where, well, we're going to have affordable housing, but only 30% of it will be affordable. No, it shouldn't be. And if we go back to what was done in the past, again, we had them all over Jersey City. And the other thing, we want to build affordable housing for people who actually live in Jersey City. We don't need to put a for rent sign for people in Brooklyn and Manhattan and Queens, that sort of thing. And that's what's happening for affordable housing. Somehow there's got to be a time. You have to live in Jersey City for at least 5 years or something like that before you can get affordable housing here. But that's what needs to be done. Somebody's got to sit down with our state senators and our congressional people and our federal senators, Booker, sit them down, McCurkey, Roger McCurkey, Brian Stack, sit them down. I'm trying to think, Andy Kim, as Bob Menendez was still in my head there, and figure out, how do we develop this? Is it a case where the feds and the state, they bond together to build this, and then you pay the bonds off with the rent? It's not like you get to live there rent-free. It's affordable housing. So the rents could go towards the bonding. And I'm sure that's what happened before. And with these developers, they're paying off a mortgage note also with the rents. You got this, you own this thing free and clear 20 or 30 years. Even if it's governmentally funded, the government wants their money back. So the rents pay the bonds. Then after that 20, 30 years, the housing authority or whatever authority owns the building, and they stay as affordable housing in perpetuity. We're not doing that. We keep putting people in luxury high-rises in the affordable. Maybe they can't afford to live in that. You have the apartment, but you can't afford to live in that area now. You can't afford to go to that Starbucks where the coffee is $12. If I had the money to pay $12 for a coffee, I wouldn't pay $12 for a coffee. But if you want to enjoy the amenities around that luxury building, and you're not making the kind of bucks, if you're in that range, that ratio that entitles you to an affordable apartment, you may not be able to enjoy the area you live around because you won't be able to afford anything. You won't be able to afford the restaurants or the bars there because it is geared for a different income level. And I'm not saying we need to, and some people say, well, we shouldn't have one part of the city that has all the poor people. Not the poor people. I'm saying middle-income people. But that would be a reality of it is, sometimes you can't shop at Trader Joe's. Sometimes you got to shop at Aldi's, who happens, by the way, owns Trader Joe's. You wouldn't know that, but Aldi's is very low in the price scale, and Trader Joe's is very high in the price scale. Or also, you want to go a little higher than Trader Joe's, go to Whole Foods, where they also say it's your whole check when you go in there. That's how expensive things are. You're not going to have a Whole Foods in the heights of Jersey City. They would go broke in no time. But you could put a Whole Foods down in downtown Jersey City because these people have the money to afford that. Somehow we have to figure out how we can position affordable housing. First, it's property. You got to find the property. In Jersey City owns a lot of property. And if you can't build a complex that has, 80 apartments in it, then build some with 10. You have to start building it. We just closed the senior center on Patterson Street in the Heights. Well, you can easily build something there with 10 apartments. You might be able to renovate that right now and make 10 affordable apartments. And you might be saying, well, it's only 10. Well, if we could do 10 here, there, and everywhere, that comes up to 40, 50, 60. After a while, you're looking at 100. If you can't go 10, 12 stories on that block, go 4, 6 stories. But it can be done. And why we can't sit down with Andy Kim and Booker and McCurkey and Angela McKnight and Brian Stack and the mayor of Jersey City and the mayors of the other cities and Craig Guy with the county and figure out how we can all work as a unit to create and build affordable housing instead of this mincemeal part of it, what we're doing here with developers. And that's how it was done years ago. Where I was born and raised in Dogpatch, we had what we called the row. It was the entire length of West End from St. Paul's to Infinity there. I forget the street, Duffield Avenue at the back end, and it went down to Lewis Avenue. They were two floors. You had 2 rooms, 2 over 2. And that was built after World War I. And that was affordable housing, and people who were coming back from the war or graduating from high school and starting a family, that's where you went. We built that all over the city. You know, Frank Hague, he built the medical center complex on Montgomery Street. He built most of the schools you still see here in Jersey City. This guy built, and the city of Jersey City built it somehow with federal dollars. I know Mayor Hague was very tight with Roosevelt. That's how he got the money for Roosevelt for medical center. And City Hall. This was all done. It could be done again. You just got to get everybody to work together to do it instead of trying to do this 10% here, 5% there. Go out and build it. Build it. You can take care of the affordable housing problem within about 5 years if we get everybody at the table. All right, we're going to break for commercial. You're listening to The City Show. I'll be right back.
No one plans on heart disease, but everyone should have a plan for it. We help patients of all lifestyles and medical histories plan for healthy hearts. We offer convenient screenings without judgment, hundreds of preventive programs, and women's heart specialists. And we're the largest cardiac surgery program in New Jersey. Make plans for a healthy heart with RWJ Barnabas Health. Let's be healthy together.
Consumer Carpets, 3408 Kennedy Boulevard in the Jersey City Heights, your one-stop store for residential and commercial floor treatments, carpeting, linoleum, tiles, laminates, hardwood floors, area rugs, remnants, all major brands, all in stock. Free estimates, same-day installation. Consumer Carpets, it's savings, selection, installation. Credit cards and debit cards accepted. Financing available. Consumer Carpets, price to fit your budget, installation to fit your schedule. On the net at consumercarpets.com. Consumer Carpets, Jersey City, 201-792-2712.
We're back. City Show here, Pat O'Meara on GGR. Before I get off the affordable housing and get into a pre-K school, when I was looking at the bike lanes that were put on Summit Avenue there, going towards Five Corners, I'm stuck in traffic because I'm Jersey City. You get this stuff. And whoever timed the effing lights on Central going across 139, I mean, if the light's got to be about 15 seconds. You know, when we open that courthouse, there's going to be a lot of traffic there. So we got to look at the retiming of those lights. I'm sitting there, light after light after light. I'm looking at the development. Boy, this is my neck of the woods. I'm looking towards Dogpatch, Central Avenue. I'm looking off to the west by what you call the Can Coal Lofts. That was the American Can Company. And I'm looking at probably about 12 high-rise buildings, either completed or under construction right now, from Van Ripen to Pavonia and Sip, across from Pavonia and Sip, right next where the commissioners meet. There's that UB building. There's the 3 towers that the Kushners built. You got the 2 towers that the other Kushner family is building. Across from the motor vehicles, the all-purpose building there on Sip and Summit, there's another huge high-rise there built on a parking lot. Oh, by the way, let me add this. Most of the construction that's gone on over by, they call it this really, I don't look at it as Journal Square, Van Ripen Avenue and Pavonia. Journal Square to me is from Pavonia going around to Sip Avenue. That's Journal Square proper. But as you sit there and you look at all these high rises, and I'm telling you, there's got to be like 12 of them going up, and they went up in the last 2 years. That's why I'm saying with the affordable housing, we can handle and settle the affordable housing question within 5 years if everybody works together. Because if these developers can build these 12 high rises within the last 2 years, so could this combined entity of governmental entities. We could do this. There just has to be somebody who wants to do that. That's why a lot of times when I'm listening to these people talk about the affordable, I think it's a lot of lip service here because we know how to get this done. The answers to the present are in our past because we did this. And then look at the development that's going on. behind the Stanley Theater, where the Jehovah's Witnesses are. That's where Van Ripen is. Van Ripen's over there. And it's astonishing. Another thing you'll notice when you look at all these high rises, I'm going to say there's probably, thousands upon thousands of units of market rate housing that are going to be available or are available now. As I look around, I don't see one school. Now, I'm going to assume, since we're talking humans, there will be children involved in these 12 or so high rises. And there's a lot of apartments there. Thousands upon thousands of apartments will be available. So I'm going to say we'll have probably thousands of kids. Where are they going to school? City planners here, whoever came up with the idea of doing all this development there. Where are these kids going to school? Because you got 31 schools packed. Yeah. All the grammar schools right in that area are packed now. Their trailers are packed that they have in the playgrounds, in the schoolyards. So where are we sending these kids? St. John's is what's a Golden Gate school now. That's packed. Where are all these kids going to school? And these units will be occupied within the next year. So where are these kids going to school? Again, you got to question the city planning here. When we're building these units without any thought about schools for these kids, there's going to be kids. And if we could keep building market rate units, why can't we do it with affordable? And I gave the answer how we could do that. Feds, state, county, municipality. They all work together as they did in the past. But somewhere we're going to have a real school issue going on. But speaking of schools, what a segue. Oh, man, that's a good segue. What a segue. Last week there was a meeting at North Bergen High School concerning the pre-K school in Braddock Park. Now, when North Bergen's had trailers there for about 20 years now, and they want to build a brick and mortar school in Braddock Park. The amount of park space they're going to utilize, I think, is less than half of 1% of the park space to build this pre-K school. And you can't think of a better place for a pre-K school than a park. Yeah, the kids can go outside in recess. They can enjoy the park. It's open air. Yeah, we're not worried about cars riding through there or crossing through. They're in the park. They're communing with nature when they're out of that school. And I think it's a great place, and if the parents can pick them right up there, again, they're not dealing with the urban streets or anything, or bike lanes. They can pick the kids right up. There are those, and I think I only keep seeing two people who have a problem with this. But again, we have this woke and political correct society we live in now. They write a letter, and it's printed, and it's always anti the North Bergen pre-K. And now, I believe they think they're on the ropes here because now they're fear-mongering the anti-school and Braddock Park people. Now they're talking about, if this happens, it'll happen everywhere. It'll happen in Jersey City. Jersey City will lose all their park space to schools. That's not going to happen. Now, I have suggested in the past that Jersey City should utilize some of their park space. It would be a great idea if they could put pre-K schools, because we have the playgrounds in these parks, if we could put pre-K schools there. The problem is Jersey City is far larger population-wise than North Bergen. North Bergen could get away with a pre-K school in the park. Jersey City, you're going to need a lot of pre-K schools. So that does become a park problem. But, could I stick a pre-K school in Lincoln Park in Jersey City? Sure. I put a garage in Lincoln Park. The county has my old buddy Demalier's operations center in Lincoln Park. Yeah, it's right in Lincoln Park. You have the View in Lincoln Park, a restaurant. I can put a restaurant in there. I can put a garage operations center in a park. You're going to tell me I can't put a school, which is probably the best use of park space I can think of outside of passive recreation. So when these people are saying, oh, you can't build it has to be for the park. Well, you better look. Where was these voices when they put the operations center in Lincoln Park? I guess within the last 5 years or so. Where were they when they were building the View? They should have came out and said, listen, we're knocking down the casino in the park. I want to restore that back to park space. I want to lay on a towel and lay in the park. But that didn't happen. See, I think there's more to this than meets the eye with the pre-K. Actually, I may even start getting involved in it. Maybe we should start doing some live shows here, some night shows, so we can get the parents involved, the children who went to this pre-K school over the years, and really get an idea of just how important and how excellent of a location having that pre-K school in Braddock Park. And again, it is utilizing less than half of 1% of the park space. And really, it's kind of an institution here now in North Bergen, that pre-K school. And again, I just want to bring it up. I've only seen 2 people that have a problem with this park. 2. That's it. I don't see masses. I don't see hundreds of people. I see more people trying to promote a dog run than I've seen talking against this pre-K school. But you know, the press picks it up. The Jersey Journal would love writing this guy's stories. It would just be the same story every time. He would just reword it, but it was the same story every time. Ideal location for the North Bergen pre-K is right where it's been for the last 20 years in Braddock Park. For that matter, I'm going to talk to some of the school people, maybe George Stoller, maybe Nick Sacco. We'll get them in here and we'll do a couple of, maybe a live show. Maybe do some town halls here for North Bergen. Maybe that's what we should do. We're doing town halls for Jersey City Public Safety and the Jersey City MUA. Maybe we do some North Bergen town halls. You know, Nick Sacco has the answers. Well, the guy does have these. Probably one of the best mayors the state of New Jersey has ever seen. I've said many times, I've said many times to new mayors who are elected, you want to be a good mayor? Whatever Sacco does today, you do tomorrow. But it would be great to get Stoller in here and Nick Sacco and hear from the people of North Bergen, the parents, the students who were there, and what their feelings are. But again, all we keep hearing is these 2 voices, which actually they disrupted the last meeting. Was they just kept wanting to give time. You know, they had people in the audience they stashed in there, and they just, I want to relinquish my time to this particular one of the 2 voices, and they stopped that, and that caused some situations there. But North Bergen managed to handle that. But you know, for that matter, when I get off the air today at 3, I'm going to reach out for George Stoller and Nick Sacco and see if we can do some live call. We'll take the call-ins here and get the pulse of the township of North Bergen. Maybe we'll even bring in some county people. But there was some talk about, well, I don't know if the county wants to do this. Well, the county's not going to have a problem. You got Operations Center there. You got the view. Now, I'm sure if I started going around other county parks, I'd probably find some other county structures there, built in the county, other structures built in the county parks. All right, let's break for commercial. Now I'm going to go back with Alligator Alcatraz. We'll be right back.
No one plans on heart disease, but everyone should have a plan for it. We help patients of all lifestyles and medical histories plan for healthy hearts. We offer convenient screenings without judgment, hundreds of preventive programs, and women's heart specialists. And we're the largest cardiac surgery program in New Jersey. Make plans for a healthy heart with RWJ Barnabas Health. Let's be healthy together.
Consumer Carpets, 3408 Kennedy Boulevard in the Jersey City Heights, your one-stop store for residential and commercial floor treatments, carpeting, linoleum, tiles, laminates, hardwood floors, area rugs, remnants, all major brands, all in stock. Free estimates, same-day installation. Consumer Carpets, it's savings, selection, installation. Credit cards and debit cards accepted. Financing available. Consumer Carpets, price to fit your budget, installation to fit your schedule. On the net at consumercarpets.com. Consumer Carpets, Jersey City, 201-792-2712.
We're back. Pat O'Melia here on City Show Radio. Now we're going to talk about Alligator Alcatraz. What a great name. Yeah, you may not be in favor of this this waste station here where they're processing the undocumented or illegal immigrants, whatever you want to call them. Well, that's a great name. It's in Florida. It's kind of like a huge tent city with it's all. I've seen the footage inside. A bunch of cyclone fences inside, and it's kind of like a commune there where I don't know how many beds they got in each one of these cyclone fence structures. but it's new. It's clean. And that was one of the things. They had some Congress people who I swear these people are just looking to get locked up. They want to go there and just get locked up so they can get their name in the paper. They're saying, and this actual woman actually said this, the problem with this Alligator Alcatraz is that the people, they brush their teeth in the same place where they use the bathroom. And I'm like, well, isn't that the same thing I do in the morning? I brush my teeth in the bathroom. And then they showed a picture. What they have, and I guess they have this in all jails. Hopefully I never personally get to visit one of these. It apparently is a combo toilet and sink in the jails. And supposedly it's universally used in all the jails and county jails and federal jails. You don't have a separate sink. You have a toilet, and the top of the toilet, where you would normally have a tank in your toilet, is actually a sink where you wash your hands and brush your teeth and all. The woman was complaining about that, and before I seen what she was talking about, I said, well, it's the same thing I do. I got my sink, and you got the toilet, and you're in the bathroom. That's where you brush your teeth. And the other problem, she was saying that somebody's seen a worm in the place. Well, since there's alligators outside, I would be happy to see a worm. Any worm you want to show me, I'm happy. Now, I don't need no alligator rodent in there. When I first got married, we honeymooned in Kissimmee, right down there by Disneyland. And my wife did all this booking. Back then, you did booking with travel agents. And they put us into this motel right outside of Orlando in Kissimmee. And we pull in there. We get the rent-a-car, Alamo rent-a-car, and load the car and all. It was in the day. And we're going out at night. And behind the parking lot was this chicken wire fence. Now, I'm a guy from Jersey City. I heard of chicken wire. I'd never seen it. I've seen barbed wire, but I'd never seen chicken wire. I looked at the fence. I thought it was interesting. And I kind of thought I'd seen eyes or something. But off we go. We're going to wherever we went that night. We come back, and I'm parking. And as I pulled in, the lights hit this chicken wire. Now I thought I'd seen a lot of eyes. But can that be? Next morning, coming out, putting things in the car, and now I actually see an alligator. And I'm like, holy. So I run back in, big tough guy as I am back there in 1978. And I look to my wife, there's an alligator out there. I said, they must be all behind that chicken wire. The only thing between me and an alligator was that chicken wire. So for the rest of that stay, I would open the door, I'm looking under the car. And there was also a golf ball driving range. And somebody broke the back window on the rental car. So now I had to bring it back. Now, it was a challenge. It was like Survivor here. If I can make it through the golf balls and dodge the alligators and get in my AMC American Rambler, whatever the hell that car we had, I was good for the day. But they were actually alligators. And for one thing, we did this tour, Gatorland, I think it was, where you walk into like this huge gator mouth into the place. They were teaching gators how to jump and get food. You shouldn't teach gators how to jump to get food. They're pretty damn quick. Now you're teaching them how to jump. But it's what they have here in Alligator Alcatraz is you're basically surrounded by swampland that is infested with alligators. But as far as the conditions there, from what I could see on television, seem to be brand new, so it's certainly going to be clean and all. I don't know about the foods, but as far as like any jail I ever seen depicted on television or anything I ever seen, it look a lot better. But it's probably the best name you can have is Alligator Alcatraz. But everything is so political, especially with the Democrats now. Even Obama's saying, you guys got to toughen up and start, rebuilding the Democratic Party here. Because all you have now is, first off, we don't have honest media. I'm probably honest media. I tell you what I know. I give you my opinion. We have media that is anti this government right now. You got a problem with Trump? Fine, you have a problem with Trump. Like I said at the beginning, I'll ride with the guy for a year. Let's see what happens. But any kind of progress the guy makes, you never yell like eggs. I just read that eggs are good for your bone density. I got a problem with my knees, and I'm probably not going to be able to get them repaired until September, so let me work on the density. So I finally bought some eggs. a dozen jumbo eggs in ShopRite were going $5.99. It's only about a couple of months ago. I just bought a dozen for $3.99. Did anybody mention how much the price of eggs come down? No. Price of fuel comes down, and then the next day it jumps up. Something Trump's got to figure out what he's doing there. But no matter what is positive, if Trump says the sky is blue, the Democrats will say there is no sky. And I've said this many times before, the campaign is over. The job now is the business of the people and the country. And from what I can tell, so far Trump is doing okay. This thing with the Epstein files is kind of amazing. First off, with Epstein, I don't know a lot about the guy. I know he's dead. And he would take underage women to this island of his, and underage girls, really, to this island of his. And reportedly, there was some sexual incidents there. One thing I always wondered, why didn't anybody ever prosecute the parents of these 15 and 16-year-old girls that were taken to this island for weeks on end? Why was nothing ever mentioned about the parents who allowed their daughters to be taken there? Why was that never investigated? Now they're talking about the client list. I'm not sure there was a client list. This client list has been kicking around since Epstein committed suicide. There's probably information on him, but I don't know if there's a client. Release the information. Release all the information on Kennedy. We released it on pretty much everybody who was ever wondering what kind of information we can get. Trump has released the info. So release the Epstein. I don't know if there's an actual list. According to Trump, there isn't. But at least just release all the information you have. But I always wondered why. Nobody ever went to the parents. Nobody ever prosecuted the parents. And why is this 16-year-old girl on the island for a couple of weeks? Never got any answers to that. Nobody even asked the question. But getting back to the media, it is becoming a problem as to what media you can actually listen to. MSNBC, CNN. Yeah, it's hard. As somebody who constantly follows the news, and I read many newspapers, I read all the sites, I watch as many news shows as possible, where I don't want to say I know I got my thumb on the pulse of what's going on in the country, but I'm pretty aware of what's going on. And some of these shows, they're actually lying to you as you watch them. It's hard to watch that, so I'll just turn the channel and say, that's enough of this. These people, they're either incompetent or they have no idea of what they're talking about. It's like the Trump and Russia. Now they're prodding Trump. There was a press conference somewhere where Trump is trying to deal with Putin. He's on a roll with, he actually brought peace to the Middle East. I didn't know that was possible. I don't know how long the sands of time is going to last on the peace in the Middle East. But for right now, there's peace in the Middle East. Now, if Trump could get peace in Ukraine and Russia, oh, man. I think he was nominated for the Nobel Prize, so he might win it for peace. He's having a meeting where he's not getting anywhere with Putin. He says Putin's a nice guy. He ushers you to death and then bombs everybody that night. So he's going to fortify Ukraine with weapons, and he's going to sell weapons to the EU, the European Union, that they can send over to Ukraine to defend themselves against Russia. So it looks like we're going to put our heels in with the Ukraine. And somebody asked President Trump, said, how far would you go if we do all this and Putin still attacks Ukraine? And Trump said, don't ask me that question. What would the answer be? What are you going to say? We're going to go send troops in there? Of course we're not going to send troops in there. But it's like it's like that master criminal who in every movie who can't help but explain his diabolical plan. You got Batman tied up. We got to explain the whole diabolical plan. Like Lex Luthor, I just seen the Superman movie. Of course, we have to take the time to explain the old diabolical plan, as if Superman's not going to get out and stop the diabolical plan. That's the same. Why do you think Trump would show his cards and explain his plan? And of course, like all the media was like, oh, they really took Trump to lunch, ate his lunch here on that one. No, you didn't. The guy's just not going to tell you what he's going to do. He didn't want to tell you what he was going to do with Iran, but then guess what? Got the bunker busters. But right now, the guy's on a good roll. Eggs are down. Peace in the Middle East. The tariff scene, I didn't finish the story. I think the tariffs brought in $100 billion. You're not hearing that. Again, I'll ride with the guy for a year. I will reevaluate where this guy is in January. But right now, I think he's doing all right. It would be nice if the media was a little more straight with this guy. But it also wouldn't help if he wasn't on TV more than Sheldon from The Big Bang Theory. And Sheldon's syndicated all over. I can turn the channel on anytime and find Sheldon and The Big Bang Theory. I can turn the channel on and find Trump at any time. I mean, he's on the plane, he's in the Oval Office, he's on the golf course. He left the soccer match this weekend with the trophy. Now, supposedly, they gave him the trophy. Other people are saying Trump just took the trophy and left. They had to get a replica for the people who won that team that won the game. And that was one of the other things. If you've ever had the experience of a president or the Pope coming into Newark Airport, prepare to wait, because you're going to wait quite a while, because they'll close the highways, they'll close the airport, and that's what they did when Trump came in. Trump came in, landed, he's going to the Meadowlands. Newark Airport was closed for a few hours. All right, listen, we're going to break for commercial. We'll be right back.
Panapinto Properties, Jersey City, shaping the workplace with state-of-the-art office spaces and addresses your company desires. Building residences that define your home environment, adjacent to all modes of transportation with on-site parking available. The right address, the right lease. Call 201-521-9000 or visit online at panapintodevelopment.com. Panapinto Properties, building Jersey City for everyone.
Good Friend Self Storage in North Bergen, New Jersey is a fully climate-controlled facility equipped with state-of-the-art security, packing supplies, a Refer Friend program, and multiple loading docks convenient for commercial use. Located just off of Route 3 at 4301 Tunnelly Avenue, Route 1 and 9. Call 201-867-2444 or visit us on the web today. Good Friend Self Storage. Let us be your good friend.
We're back. Pat O'Melia here, City Show Radio on GGR. I got about 6 minutes left, so I have to move quick here. Robert Byrne, he was the former city clerk here in Jersey City for a long, long time. Real Jersey City historian, real Jersey City guy also. Passed away a few years ago. The city just honored him, and rightfully so, with a street dedication at Courthouse Place. That's located between Baldwin and Oakland Avenues. It was officially designated Robert Byrne Way. Well earned, and rest in peace, Bob. Gig workers. You know what a gig worker is? 1099, freelancers. Those are the guys that are doing a DoorDash, guys and gals that are doing DoorDash, Uber, tractor-trailer operators, what we call owner-operators, dog walkers, babysitters, the person that does your Instacart, video editors, people I use. Jersey's looking to completely do away with that. And they're trying to backdoor it through the Department of Labor instead of running it through the legislatures. What we have here is a solution looking for a problem. The gig community was doing quite well. It certainly really exploded during the pandemic. Why the hell do we have to take away anybody's little side gig? Because they're saying, well, they're not being classified right. They're being deceived. They're not getting their proper benefits. They know. Now, I use 1099s here until the Department of Labor said I can't because they changed all the rules. They were entitled to tax deductions. They were able to write off their equipment. It was a good deal for the kids that did video editing for me. It's a good deal for the Instacart people. It's a good deal for Uber. In California, they pushed this through, and there was such a backlash. There was like 100 different exemptions. Jersey's trying to stay away from the exemption. The real reason this is all happening, first off, is unions. They want as many dues-paying members as they can get, even though I don't know if the day the union's ever going to come back like it was. And the other one is payroll taxes, because any employer, you hire somebody, their taxes are deducted from them, and the employer matches those taxes, and workers' comp. That's another thing that the state makes money on. Let me explain this. It all has to come down to money. I would contact your assembly people, your state senators, and say, no, allow the gig community. Allow your neighbor who's selling ceramic goods or something as a side gig to allow them to go. For that matter, we put during the Biden administration, they put in if you make more than $600 on eBay or PayPal, you have to report that now. $600, and the thing was that'll stop billionaires from getting more than they deserve. Yeah, the billionaires worried about $600. Give me a break. Public school funding. I didn't get to this last week, and it's on the last page again. I got to probably set up a point interviews with Jack Citarelli and Mikey Sherrill. We need a real plan on how to get a handle on school funding that doesn't beat you over the head. There is no reason why it costs $36,000 a year in Jersey City to educate a kid, and it costs like $18,000 in Toms River. Yeah, the insurance is statewide with the schools. The schools, public schools now, they're not paying rent, they're not paying taxes. Building maintenance, all right, that could be handled between the host municipality and the schools. It could be shared service between DPWs. There is some reason why there is such a disparity between what it costs to educate a kid. We need to get a bottom line on how much it costs statewide. There isn't that much of a difference with public school expenses and costs statewide. We got to get away from having 565, and I'm not kidding you, 565 school districts. We can just cut that down to 21 districts like we have with the counties. We have 21 counties. We have 21 school districts. And again, we have to figure out every expense there is when it comes to regarding these schools. Again, there is no real good explanation as to why it costs twice as much in Jersey City to educate a kid than it does in Toms River. And again, they're not paying rents, they're not paying property taxes, it's all government property, government buildings. There's a problem here. You know, busing, I know that's a big expense for the schools. Maybe that's something the state or the municipalities take over. But they got to run it efficiently. Just can't take it over and it becomes like something else the city runs and it is not run efficiently. That is a huge part of your tax bill. You got your municipality, you got your county, and your school. That school, in many cases, is the largest part of your tax bill. Somehow, some way, Citarelli or Sherrill got to figure out how we get a handle on this. We got school funding. We got schools that are talking about going bankrupt. There's a problem with our funding. There's a problem with the cost of these schools. That we got to get to the bottom of. Like I said, somebody's got to explain why it costs $36,000 a student in Jersey City and like $18,000 in Toms River. And they've got the same problem all through the state. Get to the bottom line on that. Find out. They get rid of all the school districts because all of them have salaries, pensions, vacations, benefits. All that's involved. All right. Oh, one other question. Our candidate for mayor here in Jersey City, Jim McGreevy, has raised over $4 million so far and has $2 million on hand for his mayoral campaign. My question, I got to get Jimmy Mack on an interview. Where did you spend the first $2 million? What did you do with the first two? All right, we're at a show. You be good. You be safe. I'll talk to you next week. Good night.